And again, we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for tonight's Golden Art webinar. You can check out a lot of great information on investor-grade gold at goldenarttreasures.com. And there you find a lot of questions to be answered. Tonight is the second in a series on sovereigns, and Greg will be explaining why he calls sovereign the only world coin. If you missed last week's webinar, just send an email to webinars@bellsouth.net. Webinars@bellsouth.net. We'll also be giving out that email address again at the end, and we'll be glad to send you the first in this series so you can catch up. But with that said, let me go ahead and turn the mic over to Greg so he can continue with the series Sovereigns, the Only World Coins.
Thank you all for listening. It's a great joy to be able to speak to you. I really do find a lot of great pleasure in both creating these webinars and teaching them. My only regret is there's such a big time difference between us, and I have to do it in the middle of the night so that you can have the opportunity to listen. Obviously I'm not at my freshest doing it in the middle of the night, but I do the best job I can to present this, and I look forward to your questions at the end. Please write your questions in while we're going along if you'd like to. That way they'll be ready for us at the end. It can be on this subject or anything related to golden art. Now, previously, this is the second part of the series. I did a quick overview of the Sovereign series. If you missed part one, I'll do a quick summation overview right now. And that was, we talked about the reasons why I like the Sovereign in general, gave you pictures of some of them, and also emphasized that this is the cornerstone of the golden art collection. Folks, there are literally hundreds of millions of collector coins in existence, and that number may be understated because the various governments around the world continue to mint more of them to the tune of millions every year. For instance, the United States Mint is the world's largest coin dealer. I'd like to say that it's Tom and myself, but it isn't. The U.S. Mint is the world's largest coin dealer. The Royal Mint in England is in the top 5 of the largest coin dealers in the world also. There are millions of people that buy coins around the world, and many of them collect new issues that are made by the various mints with such enthusiasm that they're on their computers or checking their mailing lists constantly to see when the next new issue is coming out so they can be first in line to grab it. Well, we're not looking at things like that. We're looking at the great classics. And out of all these hundreds of millions of coins that exist in the world, I could have focused on anything, but I picked the Sovereign as the cornerstone of the golden art collection for some good reasons. That was what you missed last week, so let's jump into this week. The history of the Sovereign is that it was first created in 1489. You're looking at perhaps the finest known example from the early history of the English Sovereign. It's a beautiful piece, as you can see. It's a masterpiece of golden art. Now, the Sovereign was a testament to a king. This was a brand new denomination and a brand new time to bolster the image of Great Britain to the world. So the king was the Sovereign. He therefore named his new denomination after himself. What else would you expect a king to do but to call the coin after himself? After all, his image was on the coin, so this was a very important decision, very important role for the coinage. I've talked about this in other webinars, but the creation of golden art was not merely a functional element in assisting commerce, but it was actually very much an important part of the image of the king. So important was the proper crafting of the king's image in gold that an improper job could end up causing the artisan who created it to have his head chopped off. So there was definitely high incentive to make certain that that artisan got it as classy and as beautiful as possible. The creator of the sovereign was Henry VII. That was the very first sovereign that was ever made in 1489. So we go back with the history of the sovereign more than 500 years. That is an incredible lineage. Now, the original sovereign was a large coin with ½ ounce of gold. Now, ½ ounce of gold is a significant amount of gold for a coin. What makes the sovereign all the more significant in its size is the fact that it is been rolled out very, very thin so that the diameter of it is very large. It's double the diameter of a normal coin that would be made in present times simply because of how thin the metal is. You see, that's because the original manufacturing technique was done by hand, not by machine. You see, the original technique was to roll out sheets of gold very, very thin. Then the craftsman situated in the center of this picture would punch out from this sheet of gold round discs that are called planchets. Then the craftsman on the left would take those giant scissors and trim them so that they were as perfectly round as possible. Then the craftsman on the right would actually hammer the design into the coin. A previously created image was inscribed in reverse, or what we call incuse, into the die that the man is holding with his left hand. Then he hammers that onto the blank piece of metal, and the image then fully comes up. Here's a picture of, again, of that early sovereign. Now, to give you an idea of values here, folks, this is an extreme mega rarity. There's only a very small number of Henry VII sovereigns known to exist. Various experts put the number at somewhere around perhaps 30 to 40 different, 30 to 40 known to exist, and that's spread out over a number of different varieties. So they're all about the same size, but there's variations in the design. So this is extremely rare and one of the rarest of all early gold coins. We do not have a Henry VII sovereign, and I don't even know where one is. I'm actively hunting, but it is a coin worth, to put it so you understand what values are, this is a coin worth about $500,000 to $700,000. So it's a very valuable piece, and even at that price tag, should one come on the market, there would literally be a fist fight trying to buy it. So I'm not aware of one having come on the market in a very long time. Remember what I talked about earlier, that when these great trophy rarities do hit the market, there's no time to sit there and think about it. You've got to be able to act and act quickly because there are plenty of people behind you ready to jump if you aren't. And I have found on these types of rarities that you cannot hesitate. The few times in my career where I've hesitated, I have really been unhappy about it. That brings to mind a story. I was at a coin show in North Carolina once, and a seller had a really great early American gold coin from the early 1800s. It was a bit on the expensive side. At the time, I believe it was about $25,000, and I wanted to pay $22,000. So this was a very small coin show, and I was the only knowledgeable expert in the room. So I figured I had the leverage of the fact there were no other major buyers there on my side. So I looked at the coin, made an offer to the seller of $22,000. He wanted $25,000 because I'm always trying to negotiate the best possible price for our clients. So he said, no, that's not quite enough. And he said, well, let me think about it. So I said, okay, well, this was a small coin show. So I walked around the room to give him a few minutes to think about it and came back, and there was nobody else in the room of any significance. And I came back to discuss it with him, and I noticed the coin was out of the showcase. It was gone. And I said, well, where'd it go? And he said, oh, it's sold. And I said, sold to who? I was looking around, and there was no one in the room. And he said, oh, between the time we talked and the time you just came back, I got a phone call from another dealer, and he said, what's new? And I described the coin to him, and he said, okay, I'll take it. So that underscores what I'm talking about, is that there's no time to sit and think. So I learned my lesson. That story I just told you about took place nearly 10 years ago. I learned my lesson, and I don't do that anymore. If I have a great major rarity in my hand, I don't let it go until the deal is done. Now, the original large-size sovereign was made from 1489 until the 1600s. It was then reduced in size to the present size that we see here, that continues on all the way to the present time. You can go on the Royal Mint's website and buy a brand new 2012 gold sovereign for the gold price plus about 40%. So this is about 1/4 of an ounce of gold. So basically it'll cost you somewhere around $600 for a brand new 2012 sovereign. Now, the one you're looking at, I picked this particular one to showcase, is because this is the extreme mega rarity from Edward VIII. Edward VIII abdicated after only being on the throne for 30 days. As a result, his coinage did not get very much mileage. And there are only about 4 or 5 1937 sovereigns known to exist. Now, we don't have this for the Golden Art collection either. It's definitely something that I'm hunting for. I know where one is, but it's unfortunately not for sale. The last one that sold brought nearly $1 million. So to give you an idea of value, this is a very, very valuable coin. Now, to put it into perspective, though, if this was a U.S. coin of this rarity, it'd be worth between 5 and 10 million. So something this rare, only 5 known to exist or so, is incredibly desirable. Now, I mentioned earlier that I've actually found a few sovereigns that are unique. They're actually rare in this, and they are some of the rare varieties. Again, if that's something that's interesting, please give us a call. They're not anywhere close to this expensive. The reason why the Edward VIII sovereign is worth so much is because of the fame of Edward VIII having abdicated, and it's the only sovereign made for his entire reign. So that puts tremendous additional value on this coin. The unique mega rarities that I found are nowhere near this expensive. So you know what we're talking about. The range of value sovereigns that I bought for a collection are anywhere from a few $1,000s up to about $200,000. So the sovereign is a very prestigious coin. Again, it was created by the desire of the king, King Edward VII, decreed that, the king decreed that it would be Henry VII, I'm sorry, decreed that the sovereign would be created, made it in his image, and now we can buy these great rarities at a great discount. Why? Well, there are a number of reasons why, and over the next few seminars, I'm going to be explaining that. So hopefully you'll be able to take notes of this, and don't hesitate to ask me questions if you're not following me. But this is a truly great opportunity. Let's put it into perspective. Here is the most valuable coin in the world. It's an American gold coin. It's worth $20 million. That's right, folks. This one coin is worth 20 million smackers. If you've got 20 million, that's the coin that you'd aspire to own. In reality, you can't buy it because it's in the Smithsonian. So maybe if we get a little worse off financially and we really start feeling the pinch, maybe the Smithsonian might consider putting it up for sale to try to help with the budget deficit. But nonetheless, experts have valued this at $20 million. This is according to the PCGS price guide, which is the authoritative price guide for United States coins. This is not my valuation, but the PCGS price guide valuation for this coin. So for 20 million, you can have one coin, or you could have 1,000 rare coins spanning over 500 years of history, over 7 different mints, and an incredible number of varieties, many of them unique, just as rare as the $20 gold piece you just saw. As a matter of fact, there are dozens of them just as rare as the $20 gold piece you just saw, yet this entire collection could be bought for the price tag of one single American coin. Now, lest you think that I unfairly targeted this as an extreme example, there are actually quite a few American coins worth this kind of money, and this actually is not even the most valuable U.S. item. It's the most valuable individual coin, but recently a single set of coins, one that I used to own one day called the King of Siam set, the owner of it turned down $25 million for one single set of coins. Now there are 4 more American gold coins that are worth in the $10 to $15 million range per coin. Some of those are in private hands. One of them is the 1907 $20 gold piece that was made by order of Theodore Roosevelt. There is one of those that a collector owns that is currently worth $15 million, and that's in private hands. So there are quite a few American gold coins worth these giant numbers. So either one coin or one set or an entire collection for $20 million. This is the reason why I'm excited about the sovereign. It comes down to one point, and that is economics. Of course, we want the best. As Oscar Wilde said, my tastes are simple. I simply like the best. That's the same slogan that Tom and I believe. So only the best will do. We don't want the junky ones. We want the best. So we have set forth the criteria for a gem, the best. You know what it is? The finest known in existence. That's what the criteria is. Do not settle for second best. We shoot for the absolute best. And should we buy an item that falls in that category, and then later one should surface onto the marketplace that's better, then we'll go buy the better one and have you trade in the lower grade one. Now, of course, there may be some difference in value between the two, but we will always strive to get the absolute best for the gold in our collection. So I believe that our $20 million investment could be the opportunity of a lifetime, could be a billion-dollar collection. Think about it for a minute. A bunch of American coins worth 15 to 20, even 25 million a piece versus 1,000 coins, many of them mega rarities. In the sovereign collection, there's dozens of coins that should be worth 10 to 15 million a piece, dozens of them. So this entire collection blows away anything by comparison in terms of the world has to offer in every single category of desirability. Now, you can be a part of building the world's greatest rare coin collection. Obviously, no one individual on the phone tonight, unless there's somebody new to the call that I'm not aware of, has 20 million rolling around. So we're doing this individually, but as a group. This is not a limited partnership. This is not any type of a security. Every one of us owns the coins individually. But what I'm trying to do is not buy 20 of the same thing. I'm trying to buy one of each of the great rarities so that we build this collection across the board as a group. So that's our strategy. Tom and I created this a number of years ago. That is the strategy that you're being a part of. One day we hope to reassemble this and offer it perhaps to an oil-rich tycoon in the Middle East or one of the other billionaires that buy rare coins. There are numerous billionaires where price is no object to them building coin collections. You're going to hear more about some of these buyers later on in the series. So let's discuss what makes a coin valuable. This is a part of the initial education series. I did a series called Gold 101 through Gold 401 that explains what a variety of issues, including what makes a coin valuable. In that series, we discuss the age, the condition, the rarity, the size, and the popularity. All those come together to determine the value of something. But tonight, I'm introducing an equally as important topic, and that is an important series as far as what makes a coin valuable. Now, so you understand what I'm talking about, here is a beautiful and very rare American coin. It's an 1873 3-cent piece. Now this coin is worth $4,500 in flawless condition. You can buy one that's still exceptionally nice for half that price. You can buy one in a grade of proof 65 for $2,500, which is an exceptional condition. So that's not much money. There's only 600 of these that were minted, and roughly about 50 to 100 known to exist. This falls in the category of a major rarity, and it's only worth $2,500 to $4,000. Now, why is it worth so little? You would think, oh gosh, this should be worth a lot more than a few $1,000s. It's because it's an unimportant series. It's not one that gets a lot of people excited about. You see, it was only minted for the purpose of facilitating buying postage stamps, which were 3 cents at the time, a kind of a fantasy considering our stamps are now bearing down on 50 cents, but that's inflation for you. And so that was the reason why it was made. It was only minted for 22 years, too, as a short series. I frequently walked in Fort Lauderdale along the Riverwalk and have seen this house and have marveled at the historical marker notating it as Fort Lauderdale's oldest house, and of course the date it was made was 1901. Europeans would laugh at that kind of nonsense as being an old house. The hotel I'm staying at is older than that. That's just like modern ages, 1901. So same with coins. This coin series of 22 years is considered insignificant in its duration. Plus, there's only 3 varieties of the 3-cent piece. So like Henry Ford's Model T that came available in one color, and you see it there, that's the way it was with The 3-cent piece is only 3 different varieties, so not a great deal of collector enthusiasm for a short series with a relatively small number of varieties. Now look at this coin here. Remember I was talking a moment ago about billionaires. A billionaire just bought this penny for a whopping $1.7 million. He collected pennies as a youth. Now he's mega rich and money's no object. This is the only one in existence of this particular rarity. He had to have it. So what's the difference? You see, folks, you and I look at things differently than billionaires do. To us, $1.7 million is a lot of money. To a billionaire, that's like going out and buying lunch. You have to understand how that's an insignificant sum of money to people of that type of wealth. The reason why I want you to understand that is because the wealthy are the ones driving the coin market. It's not the guy who's a bus driver that makes $20,000 a year. It's the super wealthy that are driving the market, and they're the ones that have been keeping it going higher and higher and higher for the last 100 years. Now, that doesn't mean that those of modest means can't buy and enjoy the rare coins of the type we're looking for, because some of them are quite inexpensive and you can participate. But I'm telling you that it's the super wealthy that are driving the marketplace, so that you'll understand that you're in good company when you buy these great rarities. Now, why did he pay so much for that particular penny? Well, it's the only one known to exist, but okay, so what? It's still only a penny. Most of us wouldn't even bother to pick it up off the street if we saw it sitting there. That's how much we think of a penny. But it falls into a different category, and that's what I'm wanting you to understand as far as the last element of what makes a coin valuable, and that is by understanding coin series. So we're now going to discuss what makes a coin series valuable. It's longevity. Like the English sovereign that we've been talking about, the English sovereign's been made for over 500 years. Its historical significance. What is the purpose behind the creation of this coin? Okay, the 3-cent piece does not have much historical significance going for it, because it was only made to facilitate buying postage stamps, whereas the sovereign was made for the importance of and admiration and empowerment of the king. It's also variety. The 3-cent piece, there's only 3 varieties. Not terribly interesting. Okay, we're going to break here, folks. Next week, I'm going to go into greater detail to help you understand the importance of coin series, and we'll expand on the variety as I showcase to you all the different varieties of English sovereigns. You are going to be amazed at the extent of the varieties that exist, and that's what makes it exciting. And that's why I'm excited about it, and I hope you are as well.
Okay. Greg, if you'll switch down to the next slide. I have them out of order here. These are the holiday breaks that are upcoming. The weekend following Thanksgiving, which is not that far away now, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and of course New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. On all 3 of those occasions, both the Monday and the Tuesday night webinars will be canceled. But you know, we have webinars normally every Monday night and every Tuesday night, if you go back up, Greg, throughout the year, except for major holidays. You are on the Tuesday night webinar, obviously. We call these the advanced goal webinars. And if you've never taken the basic webinars, we offer them by video. So if you just send an email to the email address there on the screen, webinars@bellsouth.net, and ask for the Gold Education Starter Package, we'll be more than happy to send that to you. And it contains some interesting articles, some great videos, and links to the basic Gold webinars. That will help you understand some of the concepts that Greg's talking about. We also do another webinar series on Monday nights these are at 8 o'clock Eastern. Remember, all the times listed are Eastern time. As Greg mentioned, it's quite late at night there for him. There's 6 hours time difference from us here on the East Coast. So we do the webinars he teaches at 6 o'clock Eastern, but on Monday nights we do them at a more normal U.S. time, which is 8 o'clock. That lets people on the East Coast and the West Coast attend easily. And if you're interested in general financial education, in a wide variety of topics, a wide variety of really great instructors, just write to the webinars@bellsouth.net address and say add me to the Monday list. You can be on either list or both lists. It's up to you. Our telephone number there is the office number. That's for everything. You can call if you want to have a consultation with Greg. And by the way, we've developed a habit of the first person who calls into the office after the webinar ends on that telephone number there. If you'd like to have a consultation tonight with Greg, Greg will take a few minutes after the webinar is over to talk. Some people have a hard time getting together with him during his normal times because their work schedules and his time difference. So if you'd be interested in chatting with Greg about your personal situation, give a call to the office as soon as the webinar ends, and we'll give that number to Greg and he'll give you a call back. You can get copies of all of our old webinars from the most recent all the way back to several years by writing and asking at webinars@bellsouth.net for the Monday or the Tuesday night webinars. So 2 separate emails. Just click on the link, it opens up. But you also have another option. You can go to christianfinancialconcepts.com, get a free membership there, and there's a tremendous amount of education available there. And finally, investment grade gold. I mentioned at the beginning, if you go to goldenarttreasures.com, you can find a wealth of information there about what investment grade gold is and how you can participate. Make sure that you sign in every time you get on the webinar. As long as you're on the webinar at the beginning all the way through the end, you're entered in the contest to win a US $20 gold certificate that's valued at around $200. If you will go ahead and type in your questions, I don't see any here as yet, and you should take advantage because we have one of the world's leading experts on gold on the call with us. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. If you have any comments, you can also type them in here. As far as the gold certificate, this is a collectible. They cost us around $200 a piece to buy them and give one away each month. While we're waiting for questions, let me just mention that this coming Saturday evening, I'll be speaking at Morning Star Ministries up in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. If you're anywhere in North, South Carolina, Tennessee, or Georgia, you're in driving distance of Charlotte. Morning Star is actually in Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is just 15 minutes from the Charlotte airport. And I'll be doing a seminar there sponsored by Martin Powell of Kingdom Talents, and it will be in the Dogwood Room at the Morning Star Ministries Conference Center. That'll be from 6 to 9 o'clock this coming Saturday evening. So it's free. You're welcome to attend if you're in that area. They have very reasonable rates. I think it's $79 for a hotel room. So if you're driving a few hours, you come to the webinar, you can spend the night. They have a great church service right there at the conference center on Sunday morning, and then you can head back home. If you have friends that are in that area, make sure to invite them. Everyone that attends will receive a free $100 trillion Zimbabwe banknote. We get those away there. There are collectible notes as well. Not as valuable as the US $20 gold certificate. They're only worth about $10 a piece, or that's what our cost is on them. The monetary value is pretty much nothing these days, but it is a very interesting conversation starter, and I think that everyone should have one framed and put on their wall to remind us what the U.S. dollar is going to look like if we don't elect a conservative a week from today. If you haven't registered to vote or you haven't made your plans to vote, do so. I'm not going to tell you to do like one party does, vote early and vote often, but definitely do your civic duty and get out and vote for the man that's going to uphold the Constitution, not try to further destroy it. I'm not going to mention any names, but I think you probably have a good idea what I'm talking about here. One of the people from Morningstar just mentioned that Dogwood is the second room behind the grand ballroom on the Morningstar campus, so it should be easy to find. And if you have any trouble at all, just go down Main Street from the cafeteria and where the main auditorium is, the cafeteria. Just walk down Main Street all the way to the end. You go through some glass doors. There's the conference center, and just keep on walking back until you see the Dogwood room, and there'll be a gold stand-up banner about 6 feet high that says Golden Art on it. So shouldn't have any trouble finding it. Try to get there a little early to get signed in and registered. All right, I just got another note. There's Dogwood 1, 2, and 3 behind the grand ballroom. I'm not sure which one we're in, but I can tell you this. I'll make sure that the banner is outside in the hallway next to the proper door. So you won't have to worry about whether it's door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. All right. I don't see any questions here except for some private questions, which I'll answer privately. So if we don't have any further questions, I'm going to go ahead. I was just told it is in Dogwood number 2. So skip number 1, go right to number 2. Dogwood number 2 at the Morningstar Ministries. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Greg for final comments.
Well, I think this is a first for us for not having any questions. So either I'm doing a great job of teaching and all of you understand all of this, or I'm doing a terrible job and it went so far over your head that you're all dumbfounded. So we'll have to let you be the judge on that and trust that you're able to make it to the next part of the series to understand more about the great opportunity of, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, there are hundreds of millions of collector coins in existence. I could have selected anything to go after, but I picked the sovereign because I thought it would do us very well financially, and that's what our, of course, one of our primary objectives. So with that, thank you all for listening, and again, look forward to any one-on-one contact with you. Thank you, and have a good night.
Okay, thanks again, Greg. We really appreciate it. I just had a note from tech support asking that Nancy would give us a call. There's only one Nancy on the board, so you know who you are. If you would call the telephone numbers on the screen, 561-753-5998, we'd appreciate it, Nancy. Thank you all for coming. Hope to see some of you up in Charlotte, Fort Mill on Saturday. And yes, the answer to your question is yes, Robert. We will look forward to seeing those of you that can be there on Saturday night. And if you can't be there, then definitely be on the webinar next Monday and next Tuesday night. Good night. God bless you.